Hello everyone, Ramsey here with Temecula Auto Repair and Transmission. Wanted to talk to you guys today about brakes, brake pads, brake drums as it's equipped with this vehicle, some of the things we see with common problems on brakes. One question we get asked often is, how long will my brakes last? Here we see an average brake pad life of approximately 40,000 miles on average is what we see, but there's a lot of varying factors. One thing to mention that's important is we notice front brakes will wear considerably quicker than rear brakes, and that serves to reason as a fact of physics. Most of the weight's in the front on your car, typically, especially if it's a front engine vehicle, which most are. As you're braking, the majority of the vehicle's weight is now transferred to the front. So your front brakes do bear most of the load. So we'll notice and see that front brakes will wear out sometimes 2 to 3 times more frequently than rear brakes. That is to say, we will do front brakes that much more frequently on our customers' vehicles than we will do the rears. Other factors that affect longevity of your brakes is your driving habits. Are you the kind of person that just slams on the brakes every time, gets right up there, shortening that stopping distance before you hit the brakes and that sort of thing, as well as just driving conditions in general? Not so much driving habits, but driving conditions. You drive on the freeway a lot more than you drive on surface streets. Obviously, someone who's using their car, putting a lot of miles on it, all highway miles, will see less frequency of brake replacement than someone who's doing a lot of city driving. We do have customers that are outliers, if you will. That is to say, we've seen customers go nearly 100,000 miles before they have to put a set of brake pads on. One that comes to mind is a customer with a Chrysler 300 that came in here and did brake pads for the very first time in the car's life at 94,000 miles. Pretty incredible. We get some other customers who can't get past 20,000 miles without having to do a set of brakes. It may not necessarily be that they're doing anything wrong. They might be an Uber driver, might be doing a lot of traffic, things like that. So there's factors involved that will affect how long your brake pads last. The material that your brake pads are made out of, and a lot of times it's vehicle specific, what the manufacturer chose, could also affect longevity as well as performance of your brakes. The 3 most common types of materials are organic, ceramic, and semi-metallic. And in that order, the ones that seem to last the least length of driving are the organic, and they are the worst performing in our opinion of brake material. The ceramic seems to be a good happy middle. Those materials, friction materials for brake pads, tend to last a bit longer. Semi-metallic is more of a performance brake material, and essentially those tend to last a lot longer than the other 2. Some symptoms or signs that you'll see that might indicate it's time to give your brakes some attention would be squeaks. Grinding noises are actually worse than squeaks. That means you may have gone way too far. Wobble or shimmy, either in the rear or in the front. Typically, if you've got a problem with the rears causing wobble, you'll tend to feel the entire car shake as you depress the brakes. If we're dealing with front brake wobble, you'll mostly feel it in the steering wheel as you brake. The steering wheel will start to shimmy. So those are some signs that indicate, hey, it's time to come in. Let's have us take a look at the brakes and see what's going on. There are a lot of cars out there today that have warning lights in the dash that tell you that your brake pads are low. There's sensors right on the brake pads, and they're electronic sensors. Some have sound sensors where when the sensor starts to hit the rotor as the pad gets low, you'll start hearing a consistent, constant squeak that's telling you it's time to come in. And others, like a Land Rover we have here right now that has a light on in the dashboard that says brake pads low. That's an electronic sensor in the brake pads that senses their level and gives you a warning in the dash that the pads are low. As far as the lifespan of brakes, which tends to be a common question, we see anywhere from 20 to 60, 70,000 miles on average. Right about the middle is kind of where we see it, 40,000 miles, where most people need at least front brake pads. As I mentioned earlier, rears are required less frequently, and that is a function of weight transfer. The front brakes will bear most of the weight of the vehicle and most of the load of braking and bringing the car to a stop, and therefore, as I say again, are required to be replaced more frequently than the rears. As far as maintenance is concerned, brake fluid flush is a routine maintenance that we recommend, and most manufacturers recommend it in their service manuals. Brakes themselves, as far as the friction material, aren't necessarily something that's subject to routine maintenance, but they should be inspected every 5,000 miles, and as they get low, you want to start considering replacing them. You hear squeaks, grinding noise, getting a wobble while you brake, then it's time to come on into us and have us do a brake inspection. So, if you're experiencing any of these problems with your brakes, noise, wobble, grinding noise, or just need a general brake inspection, give us a call, 951-699-3332, or find us on the web at TemeculaAutoRepair.com. Again, we are Temecula Auto Repair and Transmission.